What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're gonna head into my barn here because today I want to do a video on just a piece that I found out while shed hunting that basically is a puzzle piece to why I failed on my biggest buck ever. So stay tuned. All right, guys, back here in the archery shop section of my pole barn. Before I show you what I found here, little backstory. Had an opportunity at the biggest buck that I've ever had an opportunity at, and it's by no means a monster on a national scale, but for here where I live in Southwest Michigan, this is a really nice buck. Probably right about a Pope and Young class, 3.5-year-old 8-point buck I'd been watching all summer. Had a couple encounters with him in the fall, and then finally, on arguably the coolest hunt I've ever had, I got a picture of him while I was in a stand behind my house on November 2nd. My cell cam showed him going into this bedding area. So I left my stand behind my house and I went into this bedding area because the wind was perfect and it was actually really windy that day, and the wind was going to calm down a little later in the evening. So I was able to slide up into this bedding area, and I sat on the ground with a ghillie suit from noon until 6:30. 6:30 is when this buck finally got out of his bed. Didn't see a deer the entire time, but finally he got out of his bed, and he was bedded probably about 80 yards from me. Worked in, and he gave me a shot at right about 30 yards. I was using my crossbow. The only issue was this buck stopped and he looked my direction. Now, I didn't make any sounds or any movement or anything, and I couldn't tell if he could see me or if he was kind of just looking my direction. When he stopped, he was right behind one lone cattail in this section of, it was tall grass, but it was like knee-high grass. So I shoot heavy bolts. I thought, you know what, if he does see me, it's now or never. I'm gonna shoot right through this cattail, and I'm gonna kill this deer. And I took the shot. The shot felt good when I squeezed it off. I heard the bolt hit, and I kind of saw his reaction, and then his reaction was really funny. I didn't know exactly where I hit. My luminoc, or sorry, not my luminoc, but my lighted knock, it didn't light up, so I didn't see the impact. And then the buck kind of, after a couple bounds, he stopped, he stood there, and then he real slowly walked off, almost like a gut shot. And I actually got more cell cam pictures of him as he was walking off. He walked kind of on an angle right by my camera. It was really hard to tell where I hit him, but basically I thought I hit him low. Long story short, I did not recover that deer. I brought a tracking dog out. Tracking dog guy basically said, based on his dog's reaction and all the things he was seeing, he thought the deer was still alive. And sure enough, 3 days later, I got another picture of that deer. One thing I never recovered was my bolt, because that grass was knee high and there was, I was on the ground and no idea where this bolt was in this grass. Well, I went out shed hunting, and with all the grass matted down, I found my bolt basically right away. Broadhead looks fantastic. It's not even rusted. It's actually still pretty sharp. So that's a testament to these Magnus Stingers. And there was no damage on the bolt itself, with the exception of one fletching is cut just like you sliced it with a knife. And these fletchings are not brittle, and the other ones are completely fine. And there was nothing after the shot that, there's no brush, there was no briars, it was just tall grass. And one thing that I also misjudged with that cattail was I thought it was right up against his body. So I thought like he was literally standing almost touching it. And then after the shot, I realized that cattail was probably like 5 yards in front of him. So a misjudgment on my part. I probably shouldn't have taken the shot. I probably should have just waited. But honestly, at that moment of time with the setup that I'm shooting, I thought I could get through it. But I think, based on this, that cattail actually sliced my fletching and, obviously caused some erratic arrow flight and caused me to hit that deer low. And we think I hit him low kind of on the brisket. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Even if you're shooting high speed, high power crossbows, even if you're shooting some of these heavy high FOC setups, this setup is just a shade over 500 grains with 260 grains total up front. Stuff can still happen, and basically don't make the same mistakes I did. I thought I could punch right through that, and I couldn't, or I caught enough of it to actually slice a fletching, or at least that's what I think. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments below if you think that's what, happened, but I can't think of anything else with the condition that these fletchings are in, with where I found it in the tall grass. I mean, these things are still, I can wad them up. They're not breaking off. They're not brittle, nothing. Just that one really nice slice right there in the fletching. So something to think about. It sucks sharing failure stories with you guys, but I also want to just make this a channel where you can learn from what I do right and where I fail. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, be a sportsman, make a sportsman.